It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Caitlin. Did I get it? Caitlin or Caitlin?
It's Caitlin Doemner. It's hard to pronounce.
Caitlin. I keep saying Caitlin instead of Caitlin. Caitlin. She's in the building. What's going on, Caitlin? How are you?
I'm so honored to be here, Che. Like, we are going to have so much fun jamming. We were talking about getting more kisses and more money before the call. So, yeah, I'm excited to dive in.
I'm excited that you're here. Special shout out to Amy Walker for connecting us. Such an amazing person. And I love her so much and so dearly. We have so many entrepreneurs that are watching. And when they look at the title, Emotional People Sell, you know, some people get turned off right away, right? And other people just turn it like, what in the LL Cool J is this lady going to be talking about, Shay? I have no idea. Can you take a moment, if you can, before you learn how famous you are? When people hear the word sell, especially if they're in a career, they're like, well, I don't really sell at all. I'm a career person. And then if they're an entrepreneur, they really say, I don't really sell. So take a moment and talk about why is sales such a negative connotation in our industry, and why you've taken it on as one of your personal mantra to help entrepreneurs be able to sell more.
Absolutely. And I started in that boat, right? When I began entrepreneurship, I was in that I'm just going to flounder and fail my way through entrepreneurial attempt after entrepreneurial attempt because I had no sales experience. I had an MBA and 0 classes on sales. I hated sales. I was afraid of the telephone. Like, I was pretty sure that sales was evil and that we were hurting people by manipulating them into buying stuff that they didn't need. And there is a lot of negative win-lose, machismo, training around sales that we have inherited. But at the end of the day, sales, what really shifted the experience for me and what I try to now shift for others is I want you to start thinking about sales as an act of love and service. If you genuinely believe that the work that you're doing matters in the world, then you have a moral obligation to enroll the people who need you into your solution. If you are the best. If you're not the best, then go sell for the person who is the best in your industry. But if you have a solution that people want and need, it is your job to get out there. And like I say, marketing is our divine beacon of hope to the world, and sales is our sacred space where we are holding space for people to come to a crossroad in their lives and make a decision that's going to change their destiny forever.
You know, let's talk to two different people. First, can we talk to the entrepreneurs that are less than 3 years? They're getting going, they're struggling. They're like, Shay, if she could just quickly tell me, here's step 1, step 2, step 3 that she may recommend that I do, because I have had this resistance. There's so many books out there. There's so many videos. There's so much stuff on YouTube. Shay, what advice would you have to me? Because I'm like her. Maybe I don't have a lot of letters behind my name, or maybe they do, but they're in the game now. And they want to know, wow, what would she do if she was in my position? And then we'll come talk to y'all seasoned folks, because one of the things that makes this conversation unique and different is that she can help you if you want to learn how to sell to be better. But she has a unique perspective helping you build teams. And I know for some of you, you want to get into that conversation. But anyway, let's first talk to the folks out there like, I'm doing it all myself. What would she recommend to me, Shay?
Yeah, I have taken people from 0. I've never sold anything in my life. And my company builds sales teams that take people from 2 to 3 million up to 10 million. That's sort of our sweet spot. So it is a very different strategy. Very frequently, people come to me because they don't want to do their own selling. They're like, please get this off my plate. So let's talk about the beginning, the first 3 things that you should do if you're starting out as an entrepreneur and you really do want to make this your full-time career. Because I remember when I was in that boat, I had 1 baby. I was pregnant with my second one. I wanted to bring my husband home full-time. I wanted us to be full-time entrepreneurs. And without a website, without any sales training, I closed my first $300,000 deal, which allowed us as a family to make that transition, bring my husband home from his sucky corporate job, and go all in. And that's the dream for a lot of people. And I would say, well, let's start with the number one mistake that I think most aspiring entrepreneurs make is that they start with marketing. And what you actually need to do is start with sales. Now, what does that mean? You're like, how could I sell without having a lead? The first thing that you want to do is activate your warm network. So, if whatever you want to sell, I guarantee that there is somebody within your community that is your ideal prospect. And maybe it's just one. It's unlikely that it's just one, but let's start with one. And I want you to not have a sales conversation at all. I simply want you to have an interview style conversation about, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a whatever you are, fill in your blank, a health coach, a life coach, a business coach. I'd like to hear from you. What are your goals around health, life, business, whatever it is that your service provides? And then I also want to hear what's getting in the way. What are you struggling with? And so if you're just going to ask people two questions, it's goals and challenges. What do you want and what's getting in the way of you getting there? And then you can go deeper. The corresponding with goals is their motivation, their why, and the corresponding to challenges is their why, their pain points. Like, what is it costing them to stay stuck? And if you have those four pieces of information, what do they want? Why do they want it? What's getting in the way? And what is it costing them to stay stuck? You have everything that you need to build a solution for them. So that would be the first place to start, is just to go to someone that you actually know personally, who is in your field, who has a pain point that you know how to solve, and ask them about their goals, their motivation, their challenges, and their pain, and co-create a solution for them.
I love it. That's spot on. Thanks for sharing this. You out there tuning in. We have some conversations that are just good. We have other conversations that are good for the heart, and she said she wanted to do that, and she's doing that so well. But they're also good for the wallet, right? Because when you have more money, you can have more meaning in the world. When there's more income, you can have more impact. And she's here to help you make a dollar and a difference at the same time, which I think is so amazing. Let's step over if we can and talk to the folks that are seasoned, and whether it's 1 year in business or 10 years in business. They're like, Shaky asked her thoughts on building a sales team. I've hired my admin and tried to convince them to be in sales, Shay. I've tried to hire some BD folks and try to convince them that they're not in sales. They're just developing the business. I've tried these, and I'm just curious. I'm ready to make the investment. What does it look like? If I want to outsource to someone like her, then her company that just does it for me. And also, if I'm just looking to bring someone in. Now, I know this is a loaded question. Y'all like, Shay, you gave her a whole lot. Yeah, it's two parts. One, if she was just trying to hire somebody, she can handle it. And two, if you are outsourcing to a company like hers or someone, what are some things you should be looking for? And if you're out there listening right now, this is time to tune in, no matter what level you are. This will change the trajectory of you and your family and those around you. Take it away.
Yeah. So my specialty is coaches and consultants. So we sell high ticket services. Coaches tend to be more in the B2C realm. Consultants tend to be more in the B2B realm. So depending on who you're selling to, your sales process is going to look a little bit different. And you're going to want to bring somebody on at different points in time. The biggest thing that I think most people don't understand, a lot of people like the idea of having a 7-figure business. And there's a lot of hype in our industry about a 7-figure business. And what I don't think a lot of people realize is that you can build a very comfortable lifestyle boutique coaching or consulting agency and make about $250,000 a year with a very good executive assistant, like a VA, that is just supporting you in your execution. And you're doing all organic marketing. You have systems for word of mouth referrals, and you are just nurturing your clients so well that people just want to talk to you and send people your way. Then after you reach that phase, if you're serious about moving to 1 million and higher, what I want you to realize is that it is going to feel like you are going through a birthing canal. And if those of you who are listening have ever given birth, you know that this is not a comfortable experience. Is it worthwhile? Absolutely. The thing that's born on the other side is actually yourself. What you are birthing through this middle section is you as the CEO of a company. You are no longer a coach or consultant. And that's why this shift is really hard psychologically. It's also difficult logistically because you're learning skills that you've never had to learn before. You are now not just doing the work, you are managing other people to do the work. It's a completely different skill set. It's also difficult financially because you will see no new bottom line take home profit between 200,000 and about 1.2 million. You're going to add $1 million worth of top line revenue and see almost none of it filtered down to you because you are investing in systems, you are investing in technology, and most importantly, you are investing in humans. What you are about to build is you are going to build the infrastructure of your org chart. And that first $1 million payroll is about all you need to scale to 10 million. You don't need a lot more people. You certainly don't need 10 times as many people to run a $10 million company as you do a $1 million company. But you are going to need 10 times as many people to run a $1 million company as you do a $100,000 company. So it's weird math, right? You are going to need about 10 humans, 10 full time. I pay you every single month, whether or not I close deal humans to get to $1 million business. But then once you have that solid team in place, you can get to your next 10 million without many more hires. So I just want to give you guys a preference and a frame because you may not want to make that transition. You may not want to go from coach to CEO. And I want you to not buy in to the hype of the industry. Just enjoy your beautiful little lifestyle boutique business and go really deep with your perfect clients and keep raising your rates because you are the best in the industry at what you do. Dial in your system so everything is streamlined and just enjoy your life. But if you do want to get to a million and you are absolutely going to need sales support. Now, whether you hire operations or sales at this crossroads in your business depends on your personality. If you are better at sales, hire an operations person. If you are a better operations, it's time to hire a salesperson. But you need to hire your weakness at the first crossroads. Eventually, you'll need both. But when you're ready for a salesperson, let's talk first about your B2C. If you are looking for a B2C partner, you're probably just going to start with an appointment setter. You need a human who can simply make every single lead that you generate in your marketing count. They are emailing every email address. They are calling every phone number. They are DMing every new profile that you add to your connection request. And their goal is simply to start a conversation. And if anybody smells qualified, they book a 15-minute call on your calendar. And then you teach them to start recognizing the difference between the qualifieds and the unqualified so you're protecting your time. After that 15-minute call, you move the qualifieds into a sales conversation with you. You usually drop some truth bombs and some value at the end, so they're really excited. And then for me personally, I always send like an overview of my pricing before that second call. So we've built some rapport. I've done some discovery. I've helped them understand that I'm going to make them 10 times as much money as they're going to pay me. I tell them how much money they're going to pay me. And then the second call is pretty much just answering their questions and saying, when do we want to get started? So that would be the first step is just hire yourself an appointment setter who can make every lead count. Yeah, I'll stop there. Do you have questions about that? And then we'll go to B2B.
No. Let's go ahead and transition to B2B. For those folks that are tuning in, you're getting a master class here. Oftentimes, we have a chance to have some dialogue, but it's so important understanding that sales is the oxygen for every great business in history. It's so important that you listen with new ears, watch with new eyes, and take notes. Now she's going B to C, which is very important. So I'll let you know. Continue on, please.
Yeah. So B2B is when you are working with corporate entities. The biggest difference between a B2C sale and a B2B sale is the decision maker. Is there a single decision maker? I would still classify that as a B2C. Are there more than one decision makers? I would classify that as a B2B, a business to business. And this is where there are serious advantages and disadvantages of being in the B2B space. The advantage is every business has a listing. So you can go and find your ideal prospects on the internet, publicly listed, and build your own cold calling sheet and just start calling people, right? There's nothing to stop you in a B2B world. The downside is that there are multiple decision makers. Frequently, there's a gatekeeper involved, and it is cutthroat competition, right? And usually long sales cycles. But the advantage of these is that you can be selling $100,000 contract, $1 million contract, right? So you can afford to close one deal a year and make the same amount of money that you would make selling 10 or 100 deals on the B2C side. So just recognize the advantages and the disadvantages and plan your route accordingly. If you're coming from corporate and you already have a warm network, leverage that network. Utilize your connections. Start doing lunch and learns, start doing workshops. And so on that side, yes, again, the first thing I would do is an outreach person, somebody whose job is to add 30 new connections to your LinkedIn account every day, whose job is to send out 15 new DMs through your LinkedIn account every day, whose job is to make at least 20 phone dials a day, right? Give them really clear key performance indicators on their leads, right? Like, this is what I need you to report back to me, that I sent out this many X, Y's, and Z's, so that they're filling the pipeline and starting the conversations and getting them onto a phone call with you. Again, similar 15-minute qualification call. If we're both interested in learning more, let's schedule another conversation later. And you might start with a $2,500 foot in the door entry offer, and then you might build to a $10,000 single workshop or a VIP day. And then that might build into a $50,000 6-month contract or whatever it is that you're selling, right? So having tiers is a really good recommendation. I recommend the opposite on the B2C side, ironically. On the B2C side, I want you targeting your top level people. You can make a $50,000 sale to an entrepreneur and have one conversation and close one deal, and you can grab a $4,000 per month contract in 60 minutes. But it's harder because you can't find their data, and there's just pros and cons. But I would downsell on the B2C side. I would upsell on the B2B side. Hope that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And, folks that are listening, like, wow, Shay, she's spot on. Can you slow down for a moment? This is good. That's like a fire hose. This is perfect. This is what I need. But she's breaking it down step by step for me. But who is this person? So you got started, you got excited, and those sales, you was like, yeah, I'm all in. Like, I get it, Shay. Can you slow down and just speed up? Because I Google. Some of you Googled her. I get it. Some of you have read the bio. I get it. But some of you are at the gym right now. Some of you are in the car right now listening. Some of you might be cooking, and this is just playing in the background, or you're working. Like, yeah, you're swearing your head, but like, wait a minute. Who is this person? What has she done? What's her backstory? So you know where I'm going. It's a two-part question. One, what's your backstory, right? They want to know that. And then two, who are you just as a person that's speaking now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that invitation. So backstory professionally, I got my MBA, became a stay-at-home stepmom, and started this entrepreneurial journey because I was going stir crazy at home with my new 6-year-old son and trying to keep myself busy, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And so just tried making money, and partnered with a business consultant, and he helped me build this 2-part sales model, scheduling appointments, closing deals. I had zero sales experience, so I started as the appointment setter, and he was the closer. And we worked together for a couple of years. Then he went off to build a marketing agency. I was 9 months pregnant with Jackson when we had that transition and that first big sale that allowed Michael to come home and allowed us to be full-time entrepreneurs 10 years ago. And we've been off to the races. We've gotten to work with some really amazing humans, Ali Brown, Deepak Chopra, Mastin Kipp. I'm currently privileged to work with Kelly Roach. I've had Fabienne Fredrickson is a dear friend of mine, right? So a lot of these beautiful names in this coaching industry have brought me on to build their sales team. And we have a really distinctive recruitment model where we recruit from their list. We put them through a 2-week training process where they're earning the right to sell for you, and you walk away with a proven profitable sales team. So that's virtualcoachingsales.com is my entity that I've been building for the last 14 years over on that side. And personally, once we started building this business and it was successful, we asked ourselves, well, now what? What is the whole point of this? And for my husband and I, the answer was we want to travel the world. So we took about 2.5 years off. We took our 3 kids on the road and we hit all 7 continents. And so we got to travel down through South America, over to Antarctica, down through Southeast Asia, and road trip through Australia, then hit Europe and a little bit of Africa. And now we're back in the States. And on that journey is when kind of my spiritual awakening happened. And so I launched a company called ecstaticway.com, and the my mission on that side is to end emotional suffering for 1 billion people. And this is we teach an ecstatic framework, and I actually do integrate it with sales training, because the whole point is that pain is inevitable but suffering is optional. Stuff happens to us in our life that we cannot control, but we get to make meaning from it, and those stories that we tell will either, if they're true, they will make us feel grateful, joyful, peaceful. If they are not true, they cause us suffering, anger, anxiety, hatred, self loathing, blame, resentment, all of these uncomfortable emotions is our thermostat telling us when we're out of alignment with how your divine self sees the world, right? And so we can start using our emotions to bring ourselves back into alignment, and it comes into play in sales all the time. How many of you guys have been on a sales call and you thought it went really well and then they didn't call you back? It's just a fact, right? They didn't call you back. Now you get to tell a story about what does that mean that they didn't call you back? Is it because they hated you, that they didn't like the work, that they don't really want to be your client, that they're a big fat meanie head, as we say in our household? No, it could be that their grandmother died. It could be that they got a cancer diagnosis. It could be that they're simply really busy and they haven't got around to calling you, right? So the stories you tell is one is going to cause you a state of suffering, like, and blame and resentment and frustration, and you're going to make really bad decisions like, I'm never talking to that person ever again. And one leads you to a state of gratitude, trust, and surrender and compassion, and says, you know what, I'm just going to send them some love. I'm going to mail them a book. I'm going to share a podcast episode that just inspired me. I'm going to send them a card in the mail, right? And I'm just going to give them a little bit of love and tell them that I'm thinking about them and see if we can bring them back into the conversation, right? So you can start using this technique, and I use it every day. I'm not going to say that it gets rid of triggers, right? Life still happens, shit still happens. But this has become the core framework where I still throw temper tantrums. I still enjoy my self pity party. And I'm like, I am acknowledging that I am in a state of suffering because I'm enjoying it. Right? I am playing in the mud for the fun of it. And anytime I want to, I can get up, wash myself off, get myself back into a state of compassion and trust and gratitude, and I can keep moving forward. But having that power over my emotions is really important, because for me personally, growing up, I struggled with suicidal depression. Like, even as early as 2 years ago, when this thing came to me, I was constantly unhappy, always driven, always producing, always the best at everything, always the highest achiever, but nothing felt good inside. And so it was just a constant battle against my own demons to just try and keep the sense of I am not enoughness at bay, keep it in the closet long enough to function. And so for me, when I had this realization, I was like, great, I've been teaching people how to have financial freedom for a decade, but clearly that's not the answer, right? Clearly there is something more. And so now I'm on a mission to teach emotional freedom. So financial and emotional freedom. Now this is what I want for humanity, is how can we make really good money doing really, really great work that we love from a space of love and compassion and gratitude. So that's me in a nutshell.
You know, I love it. And as you were speaking, it leads us to a segment as we're coming down the home stretch, but it's a segment I want to make sure we get in for you, which is really they're saying, wow, she's amazing. She's incredible. But Shay, you have this segment called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks that know what I'm about to do, I know you can go ahead and do it. You don't need me here. You can go ahead and say those magic words. You wait till 11 o'clock at night to say that every night. Today is my January 1st. Then I feel good. And for all the new folks who are like, Shay, what's going on? This today is my January 1st. Please tell me. Let me share. Today is my January 1st, is one of our personal mantras here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a do-over. It represents a fresh start. It means our past, no matter how well we've done or maybe how bad we've done, our past no longer equals our future. So the question I have for Caitlin is really two parts. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, was there ever a time there was a setback? Was there ever a time there was a challenge? Was there ever a time that something didn't go right for you? And how did you bounce back from it? Now, if your life's been perfect, that's cool. Get to travel. That's amazing. She has the husband. I know y'all heard that. She has the kids. I know y'all have that. You said, man, Shay, I want to do what she does. But is she like me? Is she just super person that doesn't have any problems? We don't know, but we're going to ask. She can share or not share. But yeah, so the question, two parts is, what do you hear when you hear today is my January 1st? And number two, what's maybe a challenge you had or a setback? If you don't mind sharing.
I love it. And I did promise more kisses as well. So I will throw in there that for my husband and I's 10-year anniversary, we wrote a book called Sex Every Day that you can still find on Amazon. It's not fantastic.
Wait. What's that? I haven't been married as long as you have, but Sex Every Day. I need to get that book immediately. Where's my wife at? That's her gift. I'm getting her that gift right away.
There is a his and a her version on the same book. You buy one book, you get two copies. So anyway, I'll just throw that in because I did promise more kisses. So today is my January 1st. What comes to mind for me is just this scriptural reference that the old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new, right? That every single moment, the only reason today or the only reason tomorrow will look like yesterday is if you choose to make it so today. It's my husband's favorite quote, right? So in this moment, there is literally nothing from your past except your memories. And you are choosing in this moment what you want to bring with you. So if you think about it as you've been traveling and your own journey and you've been collecting souvenirs and scars, right? In this moment, you get to decide if you hold on to the luggage or you set it down, if you're going to continue the same patterns and habits of behavior or if you're going to stop, right? In every single moment, we get to choose because there is only ever now. There is no such thing as the future. There is no such thing as the past. One is an anticipation and one is a recollection, but none of them actually exist. There is only ever this moment and what we choose to bring into it. So you always get to decide, who am I in this moment? And I can choose if I liked who I was yesterday, I can bring that self in, but I don't have to, right? That's always a choice. It is always a decision that we make of who we show up as right now. And for me, yes, I have had to have many do-overs in my life. I will need many do-overs in my life, right? If there wasn't for grace, like there's no way that I would be able to continue doing what I've done. And there's stuff where I messed up, right? And there's stuff where other people screwed me over, right? I had a client who didn't pay us $100,000 and we spent 18 months filing a $75,000 lawsuit to try and get that money back. And then she declared bankruptcy, right? That was a really sucky year and a half, but God has given us so many gifts as a result of that story that I wouldn't change it for anything. I learned mindset. I learned resilience. I learned the legal system. I learned that I could earn twice as much money. And after I stopped giving it to the attorney, it got to come into my pocket, right? So I changed my financial set point. If you're familiar with set points, mental set points, I changed my set points and my expectations of what I'm worthy of, right? So that alone, the fact that I have a cash floor. I no longer make less than $20,000 a month, whereas before I had never made $20,000 a month because I had to pay an attorney $10,000 a month every single month, whether I was paying myself or not, right? So that alone, adding $10,000 a month to what I expect from my paycheck for the rest of my life, that'll be worth at least $1 million, if not more. I've lost track of how many years I plan on working. But right, so you can always find the beauty, the gift in every single challenge and wound, right? If you're going to keep your scars because you choose to, wear them proudly, right? You are not a victim. You are a victor. You are an overcomer. You are not even a survivor. You are God's divine plan for this here and now. So hold your head up high, anchor yourself in your courage, see a bigger vision for yourself, and make it happen. Reach out to the people who love you, who support you, who see that vision, who are going to encourage you. Pull them alongside as your running buddies and say, I am committed to doing this. This is my January 1st. This year, I am committed to doing the dream that I have been given, to following the promise that I have received, trusting that the promised land is one river away, right? And I'm going to walk across on bare ground, right?
I love it, man. That's spot on. Very encouraging, very inspiring as we come down the home stretch. Two-part question. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. We're in overtime, but she's been so gracious. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? That's important. And number two, as we close out, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that we have now? Please.
So, depending on what level you're at, we have ecstatic sales training if you just want to get better at your sales program. We have virtual coaching sales programs where we do done for you recruitment and sales training of teams and organizations. And then I also love coming in as just a speaker and a trainer on Ecstatic Way. That is my focus. I'm doing a PhD over the next 2 years. So I am looking for organizations that will allow me to come in and teach all of this woo woo soft skills nonsense and anchor it on their sales results and be able to prove without beyond a shadow of a doubt that when we feel better, we do better. So I am looking for some corporate sales guinea pigs who are willing to let me teach their team this process of emotional management and optimization. And I want to just prove to them that it is going to make a difference to both their top line and their bottom line when they can prioritize mental health and emotional well-being. So yeah, for that work, just go to ecstaticway.com. Send me an email at Caitlin, Caitlin, at ecstaticway.com.
I love it. Let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. We know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And you've given us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thank you so much.
What a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Jay.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Without you, there is no show. I never get tired of saying every night as we close out that you are truly amazing. You're freaking awesome. You're an incredible human being, as she was talking about earlier. No matter what's going on, today indeed is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is still Che Brown. It hasn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless. Thank you so much, Caitlin. We appreciate it. We out, y'all. Peace.